What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and we're going to start breaking down the first two games of week number 3, and these are two huge North matchups. These are going to really decide the trajectory of where these teams are going to go in this division, and the reality is that you have undefeated teams fighting each other, and you've got the two teams that are at 0 wins, both of them that haven't won a game, that are playing each other. So what's going to happen is that you're going to be left with one undefeated team and one team that hasn't won a game at the end of this week. So I'm excited. Hopefully you're excited. Let's start breaking these games down. And we're going to be there on Saturday night. That's right. We have to wait till Saturday. And we got a little spoiled last week with a Thursday night game. This week we got to wait till Saturday night, but it's Saturday night at 7 p.m. on FX or ESPN Plus. We're going to be back in Las Vegas, and hopefully the weather this time will be better this time around. We'll be back at Cashman Field with, I don't know how they're going to be able to fix that grass, to fix that place up, spruce that place up in a week. Hopefully they're able to do something. At least, hopefully, the weather's nice to where they can get more fans there in the stands, because they had 6,000 last week, which looked more like 2 to me, but we'll see. Hopefully, they can pack that 10,000-seat field, and we'll have a rockin' ruckus crowd and have a fun game for this one. Now, to break this one down, we have the Seattle Sea Dragons. I'm going to call them Dragons. You call them what they want. Coming into town to face the Vipers. The Dragons are giving 3 points to the home team, and the over-under is 38 points. So, looking at the Dragons. In this game, the Dragons need to shut down the pass. The Vipers, they are the worst team in the league when it comes to the run. All they have been able to do is get the pass going. So if they can disrupt that pass game, if they can take that pass game out, I think that it will really set them up for success in this game. So going on top of that, they need to get turnovers. Turnovers were the undoing for the Vipers in week number 1, and I think that they can do the same thing here. And really, this is a Seattle team that hasn't gotten very many turnovers throughout this season, and I think that they could utilize that and take that to their advantage. If they could really start coming after the quarterback, it doesn't matter who it is, whether it be Hundley or whether it be Perez. I think Perez is a little bit more susceptible to that than Hundley is. But if they can really shut down that pass and really get in the quarterback's face and disrupt the quarterback, I think that they can create some turnovers and really get that ball back for that offense, that high, powered, potent offense. And I think that they could really do some damage. And to do some damage, though, they need to finish out drives, and not only finish out drives, but more importantly, finish out games. Both of the games they have led, and they've led decently going late into the games, and they've faltered late in the third quarter and late in the fourth quarter in both of their games. Teams have come back from behind and beat them in both games. They really need to be able to figure out how to take these drives, punch them into the end zone, get points, and then also to, in turn, not give up points late at the end of the game. They need to hold strong. This is a team that, as I look at them, they have all of the stars. They've got guys. You just go down the list, especially on offense. They have the ability that this team does. So I don't know. I'll go ahead and name them off. You got DiNucci. You've got Knox, Ellison, Pearson, who is he's like a diamond in the rough that they found. That's pretty cool. Obviously, you've got Gordon as part of that. The list goes on and on and on with the weapons that this team has. Vissy McKnight. There's just a lot of guys that could step up for this team and have. The key thing is though that they've got to finish this game out. They really need to be able to do that. And too, for my own sake, I don't know if I could take another week of them blowing it at the end. They're kind of like the opposite of the BattleHawks right now. Now, moving on to the Vipers. The key for the Vipers I think they need to start Hundley. I know that some of you think that I'm crazy by that, but he had a decent passing percentage, completion percentage, even in that terrible rain, that terrible weather. He was still commanding that offense. Still, actually, I was pretty impressed with the guy who had only been with the team for 2 weeks to be able to have the command that he does, and especially in the conditions that they had. It really hindered their ability to do anything because they're a team. Remember, all they have been able to do successfully on offense is to be able to pass, and they've got no runs. So when you're in a situation where you can't pass because of the terrible weather and you have to rely on a run game that hasn't really been working, you kind of where you are. So I think that they're going to be able to open up the playbook here. I think with Hundley in there too, I think that he gives them options that Perez just doesn't. And I think that you might see some wrinkles out of them with him that you wouldn't see with Perez. But who knows? They might prove me wrong and Perez be the guy the whole game. I have absolutely no clue, but I think Hundley's the way to go if you ask me. This is a team that also too needs to create turnovers. Their offense really hasn't been potent enough to really rely on that. They're going to need to figure out ways to get the ball from Seattle, who has been susceptible to turnovers, and take that to their advantage. Get the short fields and really be able to utilize that to get some kind of free points, so to say, easy touchdowns, easy field goals, things of that nature, and take advantage of that to beat Seattle. I just don't see it happening any other way. I just don't see the firepower on their offense. I mean, it's just I see pieces there. It just hasn't really been executed there on offense. And then to figure out with that offense, they need to really figure out a run game. That's the third thing for them. They are like I said before, they're the worst run game in the league by far. And it's just, they can't seem to figure it out. It's like their running backs are always getting hit in the backfield at the line of scrimmage. They're never getting a chance to get any steam behind them, not, be able to, get moving forward. And I think bringing in Hundley will help with that, especially if they do some design runs and kind of open things up where the defense is starting to look at him as possibly running. I think that might get this running game going, but I don't think that passing game could be very, very potent. But the problem is that they've got no running game to help move that along. So if they can start to figure some things out with that running game, and that offensive line can kind of get them something there, I think that this team could show some real nice signs of life, because they've got the pieces. They've got Bryant, Badette, Sweeting, Allison. I mean, they've got guys that are just phenomenal there. But if they can't get Smith or Lovett going, it is going to be a long, long day for them. And the defensive side of things, they need their stars like Beasley to really shine in this. In this, and I think that they can, and I think that they will. When I look at this, I think that this game is going to be an under game. I don't think it's going to get up there with 38 points. I think both teams are going to struggle to score in this game, and for some reason, I don't know why, I can't seem to pick my Dragons. My heart wants me to, but my head says, they've already done me wrong twice, and I can't. I'm just going to have to, at least if I can pick the team that is going to win. At least I'll have some type of a victory in this one. That's kind of how I feel. But I'm going with the Vipers, a 19-17 win, and I'm going with the under in our first game. I think that this game, I think you're going to have some dynamic plays in it, but you're not going to see a lot of scoring with it. And I think that the Vipers are going to come out on top. So that's how I see the first game. Now, let's move to the first game of Sunday. And it's sad because this is on a Sunday afternoon, and really this should be the headliner, or at least the weekend nightcap of the game, because this is going to be the game of the week. You got two teams that are undefeated, two teams riding high off of big wins, and two that have really ruckus fan bases coming together and playing. And unfortunately, it's at 1 p.m. and unfortunately, it's on FX. Now, granted, you can watch it again on ESPN Plus. They are going to be there in DC. They're going to be at Audi Field. And I have heard the rumors are that the beer snake has been reinstated, so I don't think we're going to get any more lemons on the field. I don't know, though, if that's just the rumor on the street. Hopefully that they get that place rocking. They get a ton of fans in there. That place, even though it's not a very large venue, it is a neat venue. It's a fun one where fans really do interact and they really do love their team in DC, to where I think it's going to be a hard one for the BattleHawks to play in this one. Now, this game, you've got the St. Louis BattleHawks, who are undefeated, coming in and facing the DC Defenders, who are also undefeated. And the BattleHawks are getting 2 points in this game, and the over-under is 37 points in this one. So, to break down this game, I've got the BattleHawks. The keys to the game for them are they need to get going earlier. In both games, they've gotten off to slow starts. Now, granted, coaching, good coaches make adjustments, second half adjustments to win the game. I get that. But Becht has got to get his team moving quicker, earlier, and faster. And I think, too, that'll get them out of these kind of Cinderella comebacks and more into kind of a stable, kind of moving along type of a team. But really, this team has a winning attitude, and I think that they can kind of keep that winning tradition, so to say, going here. But the thing for them is that they really, really need to start to kick things in gear earlier, and then and not have to rely on the comeback so much. I think that they can do it. The second thing is that they need to stop this Defenders run game. It seems to be that the go-to for the Defenders are they try to figure things out, they try to play around with it, they try to play around the pass game, but when things don't work, they just go to the run game, whether it be the RPO or whether it just be run it down your throat type of a thing. They have to stop that run game. They have to stop. They have got to stop King, and they've got to stop Smith in this game. They can't let Smith run all over them, and they can't let King just kind of do whatever he wants. They need to, and it's kind of one of those things to where they almost, if King comes in the game, he really hasn't thrown the ball. They really need to take their focus off of, playing kind of, are they going to pass? They need to just switch to kind of college mindset, and this guy's going to run the ball, and they just need to just stuff that run. They need to stop the run. I think if they can stop the run, I think that DC is going to be in for a long, long day. And the third thing is that they just need to score. The crazy thing here is that when you actually sit down and look at the stats, this DC team has given up the least amount of points. They've won both of their games, and they've won the first game giving up 18 points to the best offense in the league, and they won their second game by only giving up 6 points. So this is a team that doesn't give a lot of opportunities, and a lot of opportunities don't cash in on them. They don't score. And so they bend but don't break. And so they're going to need to figure out a way to break this defense and score. If they can do those things, I think that it's going to be a really good day for the BattleHawks. Now, looking at the DC Defender side of things, They need to figure out an identity on offense. I said this before, and I'm going to keep harping on this. I am not a 2-quarterback system kind of guy. They need to figure out which way they want to go, and I think that they need to go with it because I think down the road that this is going to keep the team from being a good team to being a championship team. I think once they can figure out an identity, figure out who they are, and really tailor things towards that, I think that that'll be huge for this team. But right now, they need to figure out an identity on offense. Now, I know last week was kind of a bit. It was just a mess. It was nasty. All you could really do was run the ball in that game. So I understand what you had to do. And then too, it'll be interesting to see as things progress how they do. Who's going to be the quarterback? Because really, that's my second thing here is they need to fix the passing game. They have the worst passing game in the league, and actually, Te'amu, if you look at it, his completion percentage is below 500. So, and I'm not necessarily putting all that on him. He's had a lot of guys drop balls. And this is a team, too, like DC, when I'm looking at it, they've got guys like they added Smith a week ago. We'll see if he's going to play. He's not on their, he's not on their reserve list, and he's not on the injury list. So we'll see what happens with that. But they got Ezert, who really hasn't kind of done a whole lot. They've got Wolf, who's a really nice tight end. They just need to figure out how to get the ball to these guys and really, try to get something going on that passing game, because I think that that's really what's keeping them from being that championship type of team. But who knows? They might end up being like an RPO type of team and kind of going from there. I'm still a guy that would, if Te'amu's really struggling and King really, you're not really thinking that he can be the guy passing, I'd try Dungy. Dungy is a guy who I haven't been able to see him on the field in any of these leagues, and he seems to keep bouncing around places but never really ends up, and I think that he could be a star in the league, but he's still slated as third on there. And then the third thing here is just don't let the BattleHawks come back. That sounds silly, it sounds easy, but the BattleHawks seem to have this, I don't know. It's like, it reminds me of like 80s wrestling with Hulk Hogan, where he would get beat down, and then all of a sudden he would Hulk up, right? And he would just get going and nothing would faze him. And I feel like that's this BattleHawks team. Late in the fourth quarter, that switch just flips and they can't be phased. And they are going to win the game. And somehow they've got to stop that. And I think that really, whatever you need to do it, I think that they need to do that. Just stop the comeback. And I think that they will in this game. I think that the crowd is going to really affect the game. I think that this is going to be one that the BattleHawks are going to end up on the losing side of it. This one's not going to be a high-scoring game either. I don't really see a lot of points being put up. I think that the BattleHawks, where they had been putting up points late in games, I think that that's not going to transpire in this one. I think that the defenders' defense are going to hold them off from scoring in this one. I've got the BattleHawks a 24-12 win. They'll still be in it towards the end, but I think that DC is going to use that running game that they have, that kind of RPO system. I think that they're going to score a touchdown kind of later on in the game that's just going to make it not be able to come back. So, with 3 minutes left, the BattleHawks will have the ball down by 12 points, but they're not going to be able to punch it in and do what they've done in the past. But it'll still be a fun one to watch. I think it'll be a ruckus one. The fans will be in it. It'll be insane. It'll be a fun game to watch. And I think that that's how things are going to, balance out in the North after these first two games of week number 3. So there are my thoughts for the first two games. I'll do another video to break down the other ones. I just feel like I'm too long in the tooth to do it all in one video. So I'll be posting another video up and you'll see my thoughts on the other two games. But those are my thoughts for the first two games. Let me know what you think down in the comment section, and we'll continue the conversation on down there. Listen, guys, I know that you're busy and I know that I'm busy. So let's get on out of here. You have a good night. Bye.